Antisemitism and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The ever-present shadow of antisemitism is the world's oldest prejudice, has shape-shifted throughout the centuries from medieval conspiracy theories to modern political rhetoric. Despite the immense contribution of Jewish individuals to medicine, technology, and social justice, hatred persists. The Inquisition, the pogroms, the Holocaust, these are not just historical events, they are warnings. Even today, digital hate speech, political scapegoating, acts of terror target Jewish communities. This book does not shy away from these hard truths. It calls for education, awareness, and unwavering commitment to justice and stoppage of the conspiracy theories. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we are seeking the truth. Few conflicts are deeply rooted and emotionally charged as that one between the Israelis and Palestinians. But to understand it, we must first seek the truth. What does occupation really mean? What are the historical claims to the land? What role do political factions, international interests, and religious ideologies play? This book does not provide simple answers because none exists. Instead, it presents a thorough analysis of historical events, territorial disputes, and the complexities of peacemaking. It challenges us to acknowledge the suffering of the other and to commit to a future built on recognition, respect, and coexistence. The Palestinian national identity, as we know it today, took shape in the 20th century. Under Ottoman rule, the Palestinians identified themselves primarily as Arabs, as part of the broader Arab world. However, the Balfour Declaration of 1917 and the British Mandate ignited Arab national sentiments, leading to the Arab Revolt between 1936 and 1939, the Arab Revolt. The PLO was only founded in 1964. Israel served as the most convenient focal point for channeling the vigor of pan-Arab nationalism and anti-West sentiments. It operates as a unifying subject, perceived as a Western entity implanted in the Middle East with significant Western backing, which is not so true. Some nation hostile perspective view Israel merely as a geographical presence, but as a manifestation of Western scheme, an interpretation that essentially embodies anti-West sentiments redirected specifically toward Israel. Sadly, perhaps some Muslim and Arab individuals living in the West have been among the most vocal promoting this narrative, while it served as a unifying theme for them. That's also often understanding resentment toward Western society they reside in. Israel stands in the Western world as a shield in the Middle East, a front line of democracy, safeguarding stability against radical threats. As the only true democracy in the region, Israel upholds Western values, freedom, innovation, security. Its military strength, intelligence capabilities, technology advancements not only protect its own people, but also serve as a critical defense buffer for the U.S. and its allies. However, Israel often used by Western countries as a target for redirected anger of the Muslim world. Furthermore, Israel long been a target of anger from this world, serving as a convenient scapegoat for broader regional functions. Western societies often use Israel to bear the hostility, while Middle Eastern dictators use it as a unifying force as to redirect to the external enemy, instead of addressing its oppression, corruption, and economic struggles within their own nations. These leaders shift blame into Israel, fueling resentment while maintaining their grip on power. This book also addresses how Middle Eastern nations gaining independence in the 20th century perceived Israel independence differently as the right to exist. It explored the observation that some Muslim fundamental living in Western nations appear unified primarily on the Palestinian issue, potentially influenced by specific power, yet remain silent about the million skills and conflicts in Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran-Iraq war, Yemen, and other disputes. Israel withdrew entirely from the Sinai Peninsula as part of peace agreement with President Sadat, Egypt, a monumental step toward regional stability. Gaza was vacated by Israel for peace 20 years ago, but is now influenced by Shiite Iran, influenced also Hezbollah that operates in the north after Israel withdrew from that area. This book discusses the Jewish exodus from Arab countries and the Palestinian Nakba as a multifaceted issue involving emotion and sense of belonging. Arab Muslims and Druze constitute 21% of Israelis, 21% including professionals, soldiers, pilots, military generals, judges, and parliament members. The Middle Eastern media often present biased information employing hate and misinformation against Israel for unification of the masses' purposes. Many Middle Eastern countries, including Israel, were established in the 20th century, highlighting the significance of historical context. The Israel-Arab conflict is critical for concealing the actual extent of casualties in war within the Islamic world. The Palestinians are a small faction. This book is also engaged in a positive exploration of the Quran, recognizing it mentioned that Israel is the land of the Jews in multiple instances. It's noteworthy that the Quran doesn't make reference to Palestine or Jerusalem even once. The book also digs into the exploitation of the Quran by extremists and highlights the expulsion of absorbing of more Jews from Arab lands compared to the Palestinians, who began identifying themselves from Arabs to Palestinians around the 1960s.